All right, guys. Chapter 21 and 22 of Gangsta Granny. Let's see what's going to happen here. So, Ben sat silently in the back of the little brown car in his love bomb outfit. I hope you didn't forget about the competition, Ben, said Mum as she fixed her makeup in the passenger seat, her lipstick accidentally scrawling across her face as they went around a corner. No, of course not, Mum. Don't worry, son, continued Dad as he proudly drove his son to the dance competition, Immortality. You've done so much training up in your bedroom, I know you'll be top marks when the judges see it. Straight tens. What about Granny? Won't she be expecting me? Said Ben anxiously. Tonight was supposed to be the night that they stole the crown jewels. But instead, he was on his way to take part in a dance competition, despite never having danced a step in his life. For the last 2 weeks, he had avoided thinking about the dance competition. But now, the time had come. It was really going to happen. He was going to have to dance a solo number, which he hadn't prepared, in front of an entire theater full of people. Oh, don't worry about Granny, said Mum. She doesn't know what day it even is, she laughed, as the car stopped suddenly at a red light and mascara splattered all over her forehead. When they arrived in the town hall, Ben saw a rushing river of multicolored lycra making its way into the building. Lycra is a type of fabric that you wear, usually very tight and stretchy. If anyone at the school had found out he'd entered, he would never live this down. The bullies would have all the ammunition they would need to make his life awful forever. And for what's more, he hadn't rehearsed his dance. Not even once. He didn't have a clue what he was going to do on stage. This was a competition to find the best junior dancers in the local area. There was a prize for best couple, best solo female, and best solo male. If you won here, you get the chance to compete for your country. And if you won there, for your country. This was the first step on the road to the international dance superstardom. And the host for the evening was none other than Strictly Stars dancing heartthrob and his mom's favorite, Flavio Flavorella. It's wonderful to see you. So many beautiful ladies here tonight, he purred in his Italian accent. Flavio looked even more shiny in real life. His hair was slicked back, his teeth were dazzlingly white, and his outfit was as tight as cling film. Now, are we ready to rumba? This crowd screamed, Yes! Flavio can't hear you, I said. Are you ready to rumba? Yes! They all screamed a little harder than before. Ben was listening nervously backstage. Then he heard one woman's voice screech, I love you, Flavio! It sounded suspiciously like his mom. Ben looked around the dressing room. It might as well have been a convention of the most annoying children in the world. They looked unbearably precocious and adorned in these ridiculous garish lycra outfits, smeared in fake tan with pearly white teeth, so bright they could be seen from outer space. Ben looked anxiously at his watch, knowing he was going to be terribly late to meet his granny. He waited and waited over at the quick-stepped jived. He waited and waited as the over-made-up quick-step jived, waltzed, Vietnamese waltzed, tangoed, foxtrotted, and cha-cha-cha'd as they did that all around him. Finally, Ben's turn came. He stood in the wings as Flavio announced him. Now, it's time for a local boy who's here tonight with a solo dance piece. Please welcome Ben. Flavio glided off the stage as Ben plodded on, his lycra love bomb outfit riding comfortably up his bottom. Ben stood alone in the middle of the dance floor. A spotlight shone on him. The dance started up. He was praying for some sort of escape from this. He would have been happy with anything, including the following: a fire alarm, an earthquake, World War III, another ice age, A deadly swarm of killer bees. A meteor from outer space hitting the Earth and spinning it off its axis. A tidal wave. Flavio being attacked by hundreds of flesh-eating zombies. A hurricane or tornado. Ben really didn't know the difference, but either one would do. Ben being abducted by aliens and not returning to Earth for 1,000 years. Dinosaurs returning to Earth through some kind of time-space portal and smashing through the roof, devouring everyone inside. A volcano erupting, though annoyingly there didn't seem to be any volcanoes nearby. An attack of giant slugs. Even an attack of medium-sized slugs would have been good. Any of those options would have been better. Ben wasn't fussy. All of them would have sufficed. The music played for a while, and Ben realized he hadn't moved his body yet. He looked over at his parents, who beamed with pride, seeing their only child center stage at last. He looked to the wings, where the ever-encouraging smile of Flavio was giving him a grin. Please, make the ground open up now. It didn't. There was no choice but to do something. Anything. Ben started moving his legs, then his arms, then his head. None of these parts of his body moved in any time or sequence, and for the next 5 minutes, he threw his body around the dance floor in a style that can only be called unforgettable. As much as you might want to forget it, you can't. Ben tried to jump at the end, jump as the music stopped, and he fell to the floor with a thud. There was a silence. Deafening silence. And here he is doing his dance in his love bomb outfit. Yikes. Then Ben could hear one pair of hands clapping. He looked up. It was his mom. Then another pair of hands joined in. It was his dad. For a few seconds, he thought it might be one of those moments you see in a film when the underdog triumphs against all odds. And soon everybody in the hall would be on their feet, cheering and applauding this local boy who at last had made his loved ones proud, at the same time reinventing a new dance forever. The end. Well, no, that's not what happened. After a few moments, his parents felt embarrassed to be the only ones applauding and stopped. Flavio returned to the stage. Well, that was... For the first time, the Italian heartthrob seemed to be a loss for words. Judges, can we know your scores for Ben, please? 0, said the first. 0. 0. Only one more judge to go. Could Ben make it to 4 zeros? But the final judge must have felt sorry for the sweaty little boy in front of her, who had shamed his family for generations with his epic display of talentlessness. She shuffled her scoring paddles under her desk. 1, she announced. There were loud boos and jeers from the audience, so she corrected her score. I am sorry. I mean 0, she said, holding up her original choice of paddle. Slightly disappointing scores from the judges there, said Flavio, still trying hard to smile. But young Ben, not all is lost. As the only boy who entered the solo male category tonight, you therefore are the winner. May I present you with this solid plastic statuette? Flavio picked up a cheap-looking trophy of a dancing boy and presented it to Ben. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, a round of applause for Ben. There was silence again. Even Mom and Dad didn't dare to clap. Then boos and jeers and catcalls, shouts of shame on you, no, and fix. Flavio's perfect smile began to crack. He leaned down to Ben and whispered in his ear, you better get out of here before you get lynched. At that exact moment, a tap shoe was thrown from the back of the audience. It flew at a speed through the air. It was aimed probably at Ben, but instead hit Flavio right between the eyes. He fell to the ground unconscious. Time to make excuses and make my leave, thought Ben. And there's poor Flavio getting busted in the face. Chapter 22, Lycra Lynch Mob. An angry mob of ballroom dancing enthusiasts chased a little brown car down the street. Looking out the back window, Ben thought this would perhaps be the only time in history a lynch mob was entirely dressed in lycra. Dad put his foot down on the accelerator, and they lost them around the corner. Thank goodness I was there to give Flavio the kiss of life, said Mum in front of his seat. He was just unconscious. He hadn't stopped breathing, Mum, said Ben from his back. You can't be too careful, said Mum, reapplying her lipstick. Most of it was now smeared all over Flavio's face and neck. Your performance was, in a word, dreadful and embarrassing, pronounced Dad. That's 2 words, said Ben with a chuckle. If you count the word and. Don't get funny with me, young lad, snapped Dad. This is no laughing matter. I was ashamed of you. Ashamed. Yes, ashamed, grumbled Mom in agreement. Ben felt like he would give anything to disappear. He would give all of his past and all of his future just so he didn't have to be sitting in the back seat of that car. I'm sorry, Mom, said Ben. I just want to make you proud. I really do. It was true. Making his parents ashamed, well, that was the absolute last thing he wanted. However, stupid, he thought. Things sometimes were. Well, you have a funny way of showing it, said Mum. I just don't like dancing, that's all. That's not the point. Your mother spent hours making your costume, said Dad. It's strange how parents always refer to the other as mother or father rather than mum or dad when you're in trouble. You made no effort on that stage whatsoever, Dad continued. I don't think you even rehearsed once, not once. Me and your mother worked night and day to give you opportunities we never had, and this is how you treat us. With contempt, said Mom. Contempt, said Dad. A single tear ran down Ben's cheek. He caught it with his tongue. It tasted bitter. The 3 sat in silence as the car rumbled home. No words were spoken as they got out of the car and went into the house. As soon as Dad opened up the front door, Ben bounded up to his room and slammed the door. He sat in his bed still in his love bomb outfit. Ben never felt more alone. He was hours late to meet Granny. Not only had he let down his mom and dad, but he had let down the one person he had grown to love more than anyone, his Granny. They were never going to steal the crown jewels now. Just at that moment, there was a quiet rap on the window. It was Granny. Dressed in her scuba diving gear, the old lady had climbed the ladder to reach her grandson's window. Let me in, she mouthed theatrically. Ben couldn't help but smile. He opened the window and hauled the old lady inside like a fisherman might haul in a particularly big fish on his boat. You're very late, admonished Granny as Ben helped her over to the bed. I know, I'm sorry, said Ben. We said 7 o'clock. It's past 10. The sleeping tonic I gave the guards at the tower will be wearing off soon. I'm really sorry. It's a long story, said Ben. Granny sat up on Ben's bed and looked at him up and down, and then dressed. And why are you dressed like a demented Valentine's card? She demanded. As I said, it's a long story. It was a bit of a reach for Granny to criticize what he had on, considering she was dressed in a wetsuit and diving mask. But there wasn't time to get on that now. Quick, boy, put on this wetsuit and follow me down the ladder. I'll start up the mobility scooter. Are we really going to steal the crown jewels, Granny? Well, we are going to have a go, said the old lady with a smile. That's where we will stop and continue with next time. Caught by the Fuzz.